Previously on the Jay and Dan podcast.
There's some people in this world, Dan, who unbelievably have not tried a Big Mac.
That's right, and we've got one of them with us. I can't believe this.
Well, Matt Cos. Let's let Matt try his first.
First impression, it was fluffy, it was inviting. It opened the door and said, hey, come on into the meat house.
That's what it says at your door, your house, too.
It does. My neighbors are not pleased with me at all. And then you know what the pickle says? Pickle says, we're not around. We're taking it down to the flavor train.
There's no...
devours his insect.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We should have all taken a big bite at the same time. We needed someone to be talking.
No, we didn't. So went to the Phantom, took my daughters to the Phantom of the Opera Saturday night.
Is this a local production? I've never heard of it.
Sorry for chewing in your ear while you listen to this podcast, but...
Hey, I love that sauce. You can absolutely plow it back. She's a real fine dame.
You're listening to the Jay and Dan podcast.
Brought to you by our friends at McDonald's.
They want to put their face deep into a Big Mac.
Dads.
Hey, it's February 10th. You know what that means?
I got yerba mate everywhere. I gotta get a napkin.
Oh, you got some Lysol wipes right there.
Oh, yeah.
Clean it up with that.
That's right. Here they are. Perfect.
February 10th means a couple new episodes of Mike Tyson Mysteries are released. Boy, I'm going to be racing home to see those tonight. If you've never seen it, I've mentioned it before. It's an 11-minute show, so you can get through it.
It's like the TikTok of TV shows.
That's right. Mike Tyson solves mysteries along with Norm Macdonald, a talking pigeon, his adopted daughter, and a ghost.
So, our new sponsor is McDonald's. Oh, by the way, our guests today, very exciting guests. Two of them, Mark Normand, hilarious comedian, who we discovered on Theo Vaughn's podcast that we were both obsessed with this past weekend with Theo Vaughn. Mark has his own podcast called Tuesdays with Stories. He's going to be in Toronto this weekend, so he's going to be calling in about 10 minutes. So we'll talk to Mark. And then Bob Weeks will talk to us about Nick Taylor's big win at Pebble Beach over the weekend. Boomsies.
Has Bob ever been on the show? I don't think so.
I think once, I thought. No? I can't remember.
I think we had him, yeah.
I think once. Ago, yeah. I think once.
So it's been a few weeks since he's been on.
Nice.
Not really.
Oh. Hey, ooh. There's another drop.
For next week.
There's another drop.
That's what happens when my acid reflux is gurgling near the surface.
Ooh, boy.
Hey, come on into the meat house.
That was nasty.
Hey, can I give a public service announcement?
Sure, but okay.
Went to a show at the Horseshoe, the world famous Horseshoe this past weekend. Just turn your heat on. That's all I ask. That's all I want you to do. Next concert, when you see everyone in the crowd freezing, just put the heat on. Thank you.
They're famously surly there. They don't. They're living on their history, so they're not going to change a thing. You just show up with layers. You got to show up with layers for those shows. Hey, Stoff. Now that McDonald's is our awesome new sponsor, you saw a cool thing, a bunch of different McDonald's orders from celebs. Is that right?
Yes, I did. So McDonald's basically put out this video on YouTube that just showed like everyone's favorite meals from like Kim Kardashian to Patrick Mahomes. So Kanye West's go-to: 6 nuggets with barbecue sauce, fries, and a milkshake.
Okay,
I like that.
standard.
That's simple.
Yeah,
That's
not too
good.
bad.
That's a good
Little
one.
milkshake on the
Kanye.
side.
You'd expect his to be way crazier.
Well, speaking of crazy, his wife, Kim K.
Kimmy.
Cheeseburger, fries, 6 nuggets with honey sauce,
Yeah.
which is quite the veteran move.
Yeah.
And a apple pie and a shake.
Do they
that's
still
why
have
she has a
apple
big
pies?
bum.
It's a lot of treats, but it looks
It's
good.
treats. Yeah, that's how she gets her beautiful figure.
Is the apple pie still there?
I believe
I
so.
believe so. Why would they not have the apple pie?
I think it's still rolling, isn't it?
It's got to be. Whoopi Goldberg, Big Mac, fries, and an iced tea.
See, that's just basic right there. I
It's
like that,
basic.
though. That's good basic.
Magic Johnson, a Filet-O-Fish with fries.
What's your take on the Filet-O-Fish? I personally love it.
I actually really like it. It's nice and soft.
And
I have to be honest, I've never had one.
okay, next
Wow.
podcast.
There
Dan
we go.
tries a
There we go.
Filet-O-Fish. Boomsies.
Oh, by the way, how we had Cause try the Big Mac last week.
Yes.
Carlo Koliakovo was very, very upset that he wasn't invited here to eat McDonald's.
Oh,
He's
but-
here at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, he's here so early. I feel like we were doing him a favor.
He would come in. I just told him, like, well, Cause never had a Big Mac. What about you? And he's like, well, we could see how many Big Macs I could eat. So that's something.
Okay. Now, what we should do, well, now I don't know how our sponsor would feel about this, but it's just about loving Big Macs. Our stats guy, Hound Dog Harrison, we've talked about this before. He can put food back intensely. I've seen him put back
I smell
many
a challenge
burgers.
here.
This is what I'm saying. We have Hound Dog against Carlo next week. Who can eat the most Big Macs? I love this idea.
The thing with Hound Dog, you could say, we want to see how much milk you can drink. He'd say, sure, right now.
Yeah. He's very much, he's a gamer. I think that's the way to describe Hound Dog. Like anything we come up with on the show. In fact, I believe that we're planning some sort of energy drink commercial parody with Vasek Pospisil having the maple syrup at the South France Open last weekend. And I think the premise in the commercial was that someone would get maple syrup poured all over them. And instantly, well, first it was Dan, but then we realized that was kind of logistically tough because he'd be wearing a suit. So then instantly our minds turned to Hound Dog, and he would be shirtless, maybe bottomless, and just covered in golden, buttery maple syrup.
That'd be a tough one to get off, but you said there is a shower here on site.
Tough one to get off.
The maple syrup.
Oh, right.
I put maple syrup in my coffee every morning. Do it. It's delicious.
It's funny because Pospisil tweeted that today. He listed all the benefits of maple syrup, all the good things that it will do for your body, and then he said, and sneakily good in coffee.
So he is going to get big maple syrup money.
I hope so. But I feel like the maple syrup industry is very much like, we don't need your help.
Yeah.
Right? We don't need anyone's help.
And there's no conglomerate. Well,
Everyone wants
there is a
our
collective.
maple syrup from Quebec.
Yes.
Right? And we are our own thing, and we don't need you, Vasek Pospisil, runner-up at the South France Open. We don't need you.
It's expensive. Like a little bottle.
Real good, like real maple syrup is expensive. There's no getting around it. But it's also, once you have it, the real stuff,
I know.
you can't really go back to the types I'm talking.
The syrup. I have to admit, when we go to a pancake breakfast, my daughters and I,
Yeah.
we bring our own maple
So
syrup.
yeah, a lot of people do that now. They bring their own syrup.
I can't do
in
the
inside
fake
of
syrup.
in maybe your jacket pocket. You throw it in there,
Yeah, they
like
don't
a
care.
flask.
I don't think they care. If they did, then I'm out of there. Hey,
Gone. You're leaving that Denny's.
you and your charity can go stick it.
Wow. Even at a charity event, they're having a pancake breakfast. Toolsy, his own syrup. People are like, oh, you brought syrup for everyone, Dan. No, off. It's my syrup.
Be weird to ask
Dan,
someone.
it's for the children. You kids.
Well, along those lines, Dave Naylor is actually infamous for bringing mustard to Michael Landsberg's house for a Super Bowl party and then taking the mustard home with him.
Whoa. So is this some fancy mustard?
So it's mustard that he obtained in Cleveland, and he got like a whole case of it because he loves it. It's like ballpark mustard or something like
and
that.
he didn't leave it
He
as a
didn't
gift.
leave
He
it as a
brought it
gift?
with him as a, I guess, presumed gift, but then he... I guess he
so
figured Landsberg
classic.
wouldn't have any, so...
That is amazing.
So Naylor, I'll just be taking this, and we'll see you later, Michael, and the Landsberg family.
You don't want good mustard underappreciated.
I want to have Naylor on to just discuss that. Actually, I want to
I'm
have
sure he'll
Naylor
do it.
and Landsberg on because they hosted a morning show together for a while.
Indeed, they did.
That's why that duo broke up. That's also what broke
It
up
was the
Celino
mustard,
and Barnes.
definitely, yeah.
Celino and Barnes broke up probably because one of them brought mustard.
What was the name of their show? Nailing It?
What was that?
Nailing it with the Berg.
That would have been a good title, but I think it was just Naylor and Landsberg.
Naylor and Landsberg in the morning.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This wasn't as good and it didn't last.
Guess we better call up our first guest.
Yes, we will. Absolutely.
This is kind of interesting. He's performing right after he's on with us?
Correct. So I was messaging with him today, and we were talking about when he was going to come on. Because we do this podcast from 8:30 to 9:30 Eastern. We tape it, rain or shine. We are indoors. Every week, right, on a Monday. So we're not really flexible with guests. That's why, people are asking, why don't you guys have Schrager on anymore? Well, Schrager goes to bed at like 7 p.m.
Yeah, he's on Good Morning Football, so he's got to be
He
up
just
up
can't
there.
do it. Like we've always been like, stay up a little later. He's like, I'll be in. He's doing a 4-hour morning show. Like we can't have him on. So yeah, people kind of got to fit in. But yeah, Mark's doing a set at 9:15. It's 10 to 9 now. And then he's doing another set at 10:30.
And where is he tonight?
I don't know. Well, we'll find out. I think he's in New York City, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
But yeah, Mark has his own podcast with a comedian you love, Joe List.
Yes.
Called Tuesdays with Stories. Hilarious. If you get a chance to listen to it. And if you're a fan, and I want to talk to him about this, if you're a fan of Tuesdays with Stories, there's a name for fans of that podcast. You're a Tuesday. Okay? So I'm going to say that I'm 100% a Tuesday. And Dan, when you listen to it, you're going to be full-on Tuesday as well.
I love it.
Mark will be at the Grand Gerard Theater this Sunday, the 16th of February, to do stand-up. And I got to be honest, and Dan's the same way. I've never heard of this theater. Mark, are you sure this is a real theater that you're performing at?
Well, the check cleared, so whether it happens or not, something's going to go down. Maybe I'll just do drugs or get drunk or meet a lady or a fat chick, but either way, I'm coming to Toronto.
Well, you're going to be in a great neighborhood for it. You're in Leslieville, which is, I guess, sort of like the Brooklyn of Toronto. And, right? So you're going to be in a great spot there. There's a great pub called the Maple Leaf Pub. And you're going to go there. You're going to meet a nice lady. And then you're gonna take her over to your show, and you're gonna wow her, and you'll marry a Canadian, and then you'll be dual citizen.
All right, I love a Canuck. You know what's great about Canadian women is they're not as entitled as us fat Americans.
Do you have experience in this, Mark?
Oh yeah, well I've been to Montreal Comedy Fest and the Vancouver, and the Edmonton, you name it.
Now,
sound like baseball teams.
At the Montreal Comedy Festival, are there groupies for all the comedians there? Because the city is overflowing with comedians during that festival.
Oh yeah, they come out. It's exciting, and I think comedy's big in Canada. You guys get comedy, so I feel like the ladies want to meet maybe an American douche, and who knows? Then, once we got some TV credits, you guys have fake TV over there. We got some real TV.
That's right.
So I think they get excited.
I think you're 100% correct about that. So we first discovered you on Theo Vaughn's podcast, and you were so funny with Theo. And there was a moment on that podcast that Dan and I still talk about a lot. You two attended a UFC event together, and Theo didn't remember that you attended the event with him.
Hurtful.
It was hurtful. I felt bad for you through my car speakers. I was like, I cringed.
I wanted to hug you.
Well, first of all, it hurt even more because he's sober. One thing, he was like a big booze bag, and he was like, oh, yeah, I drink a ton. I'm like, yeah, I get it. My dad's the same way. He doesn't know my name. That's what hurt. He's sober, and we connected, and we bonded. You know what the thing is? Joe Rogan, if Joe Rogan's in the area, no one's thinking clearly. He's a big presence. He's famous, and he can make you famous. So I think we were all just focused on that, and we lost sight of what was going on.
Okay. Do you immediately have to start working out when Joe Rogan's in the room?
Oh, you start doing push-ups, you do your tight five, you want to look cool, you don't want to look weak. You go back to that ape alpha mentality where you're just like, oh, I'm just the douchey, swirly ape on the branch, and he's cracking the coconut, and I want a piece of it, so I got to him a little, or whatever it is,
And then you were talking about Brandon Schaub, who we've met from Fighter and the Kid, and he does a podcast with Theo, and also a super nice guy. These is it weird for comedians now, Mark, because you've got guys like Joe and Brandon, and they're jacked, and they're driving Ferraris, and it doesn't fit the mold, so to speak.
It's very strange, but I think just like every other art form or every other fad or trend, it's got a break. It used to have hair metal, then it went to grunge. So, it used to have nebbishy Jewy guys who had a dairy allergy, and now you got MMA fighters driving a Lambo with slick back hair and a cool bomber jacket on, and that's the new world order.
So, do you have a bomber jacket and a?
No. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm a bedwetter. I'm half Jew. I'm gay, and I still like a little MMA and some labia.
Yeah, that's right. Because you and Joe on the Tuesdays with Stories pod, the latest one. I mean, the amount that you two talked about each other and each other, like it was kind of nice actually. Like it was nice to hear you guys talk that way.
Yeah, we mix it up, and we like to be exactly ourselves on the pod. So we're not going to censor, and we say horrible to each other in regular life. So we say, hey, we're just going to be the same guys and say racial slurs and each other and, say horrible things.
Now,
and if you want to listen, listen. If you don't. That's pretty simple.
We just heard something about an employee of ours here that happened at a party. He went to a Super Bowl party at another guy's house, and he brought mustard. And then when he left, he took the mustard with him. Have you ever done this?
Yeah.
Because we can't wrap our heads around this.
Oh, sure. I've done things like that all the time. I mean, condiments. We act like, don't you feel like you're going to open your fridge and there'll just be ketchup in there? But you got to realize, I'm a grown-up now. I got to go buy that ketchup. Or I'll just steal it from a party.
Yeah, grab some Frenches on your way out the door, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I steal everything from the hotel room, not because I want to steal it. I just go, I'm going to need this lotion. And I don't want to go out and buy it, and I'm already here. I'll just throw it in my bag. And I think it's the same with the ketchup, the barbecue, and the mustard. You go, it's right here. I did need some mustard. This saves me a trip.
But at the same time, Mark, this is different. This is loving a brand of mustard so much that you don't trust the host of the party to have a mustard that's satisfying enough for your palate, right?
Oh, that is different. Yeah, wow.
So that
Good
seems
point.
extreme. Like don't you slum it with the Frenches, I guess, or whatever for one night and you be a good guy? But no, this guy's like, no, I'm bringing my own imported mustard from Cleveland, of all places.
Yeah, this guy's a kook. This guy should be locked up. I thought it was a klepto situation. This guy's
No,
a
he
wacko.
brought it and then left with it.
Okay, yeah, that's annoying. That is annoying. I hate this guy already.
You mentioned you and Joe like to kind of keep it real and all that. So there's so many podcasts out there now, and Dan and I have been doing ours for 10 years, and we're kind of the same way. We don't plan it. We have no preparation. That's the same way with our TV show. To be honest, we're not professional in any way. But I'm curious, Mark, like you're friends with Joe, but you're friends with lots of comedians. Why do you decide to do a podcast with Joe instead of another comedian, for example?
Funny story. Well, actually, it's not that funny, but Joe and I were the only two comics that felt like without a podcast. Everybody's got to have one now. And we would just sit at a diner from midnight to 5 a.m. just laughing and bullshit.
They're after you, Mark.
Sorry. I was urinating in public and I got caught. No. So Joe said, hey, look, we sit down at the diner until 4 a.m. anyway. Why don't we just record it? We'll just make a podcast. And then that's how it started. And then cut to 6 years later, now we're selling out live shows. We got our own merch. We got a YouTube channel. So it's finally cooking.
And,
That's awesome.
And like for the modern comedian, like without a podcast, it's kind of tough, right? I mean, you're selling shows out based on what you guys do on the pod.
Yeah, the pods are big, man. Like I've done, 12, 13 late night shows, Conan, Fallon, Colbert, you name it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Done a million of them. I work really hard. I buy a new suit. You plan the whole thing out, blah, blah, blah. Nobody gives but you do one Theo or one Rogan or one Fighter and the Kid, and you're in the mix.
Now, what's the feel like before you go on a late night show? Is it feel different than a regular set at a club?
Oh yeah,
like there must be the nerves just must be like, oh man, if I flub one word, I'm.
Exactly, it's terrifying. It's basically a tightrope walk, and if you just miss one pinky toe, you fall down into into the abyss. But that's also why it's fun. It's like a race car drive, or you're like, I could go into the wall at any moment.
And
so it's exciting. But
is there
meaningless career-wise?
Yeah, that's amazing because it used to be you get on Carson and your career was made, right?
Oh yeah, the times have changed. Once again, it's like the Nebuchadnezzar Jew. It's not the Supreme. Now it's Chris D'Elia in a cool leather jacket and Jordan.
Hey, Chris D'Elia.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it's the natural progression.
Isn't Chris D'Elia's claim he's Justin Bieber's favorite comic?
Yeah, that's right. I opened for D'Elia years ago at Caroline's, and Justin Bieber was in the audience. I had no idea.
And you opened for Amy Schumer on a big national tour, and that was it sounded like it was like opening for the Stones, basically, Mark.
It was in the height of her powers, private jet, Madison Square Garden,
Wow.
5-star hotels. I'm talking ladies and booze and, fine dining. And, she'd have celebrities backstage. The whole thing was cuckoo.
And why you, Mark? Why did she pick you? Did she just loved you?
I said, why me? She said 3 reasons. 1, you're low maintenance. You do well on stage, and you never try to sleep with me. And I said, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good criteria to choose an opening act, actually.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. And I think as a woman, she didn't want another woman opening because they could step on each other's material, blah, blah, blah. So it all worked out. I remember I did a set of the comedy show, bombed, but one joke worked, and she happened to walk through the crowd during that one joke, and that was it.
Wow.
Ooh.
It's amazing how
I know.
little moments like that, can make a career. You just never know.
You never know. It's pretty wild. Yeah, it's a wacky business. There's no rhyme or reason. I know guys who are super funny who can't catch a break, and then I know people who think out loud, and they're getting zillions of dollars put up their ass every night.
Oh. I would like to name names, but I don't know if you want to.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
They'll-
You don't
they'll
want to
be-
do that. You don't want to put that into the universe.
No.
Touring, how do you survive? Because Jay and I, we did our podcast tour. We did a couple cities every 2 weeks, and we almost died.
Yeah, we were dead after.
How do you do the touring? Because we are not adults, and we should not be touring.
Same here, but I think I've got it down to a science. I'm on the road literally every weekend. I fly from my apartment in New York to Denver, St. Louis, Boston, Miami, you name it. But I come back on Sunday, veg out, hang out in the city, see my friends, do some local spots at night, and then on Thursday I'm back out on the road again. And I don't know, I'm pretty good at just shutting down at the airport. I go zombie mode, and then I just kind of come online, and I'm like, oh, great, I'm in Portland.
The show's in Denver, but I'm in Portland.
Yeah, that's happened before too. I've really screwed up some train schedules and whatnot, missed a ton of flights, you name it. But yeah, when it all works out, it's pretty great. When you just go, holy shit, I was in my bed this morning. Now I'm in San Antonio. We got a sold out show. The hotel's killer. I got a hot DM in my box here. It's going to be a great night.
And you're fine traveling solo because you're going to all these places alone, I guess.
I prefer solo. I've had, you bring a girlfriend or you bring somebody else, like a photographer or something. It just slows you down.
What about L.A.? You talked to Theo about this because it seems like the scene has sort of moved to L.A. in a lot of ways. Like I know the Comedy Cellar's in New York, and that's legendary, and you're there a lot. And
Yeah.
do you get the temptation to zip out to the other coast and just set up shop out there?
I mean, it's kind of a personality thing. I've noticed for me, if the treadmill is not on, I won't run, and I think that's why I like New York. That treadmill is constantly going. You got to stay afloat. You got to hustle. But in L.A., it's just so goddamn cushy. You
Yeah.
got the sunshine. You
You're
got
right.
your feet up. You don't have to ride a subway. You're in your own car with your own music, with your own AC, just driving and texting. And everybody's attractive, and
Yeah,
there's so
that's
much
true.
industry, and it's just too much.
And there's no
that's why-
comedy. There's no comedy in that.
No, of course not. That's why the comics are worse. I mean, no offense to them, but I mean, we got your Dave Attell's and your, we got killers over here.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they got Bill Burr. I'll give them that. But Bill Burr started in New York.
Right. You've got the Colin Quinns, and like it seems like they're ball busters, right? Like they're
Yes.
not, right.
So, but it's all flipped. I mean, it's kind of true. Like you watch D'Elia and Theo and Schaub and all these good-looking, cool dudes, and they're all busting each other's balls, and you're like, oh wow, look at this! It's moved from New York to L.A. and it's catching heat. It's great. It's exciting. I'm happy for them.
You mentioned
New
Schaub
York,
and
too progressive. Sorry, what?
Schaub and Rogan. Those are two of the most unique comedy stories because Rogan's resume, what he's done is just it's so strange and weird and interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty bananas. I mean, that couldn't have happened years ago. So, hey, look, however you can get in, I say get in, but there's no set path.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. One other thing I'm fascinated by you, Mark, is you grew up in a mansion. You mentioned like a literal mansion in New Orleans, and I loved your dad's philosophy. You sort of said that he wanted to be a big deal. He wasn't a big deal, so he went to a poor neighborhood and bought a mansion there and felt like a big deal. Like it's brilliant.
I guess. I mean, there's going to be some holes in it because, he bought a Beamer because it was a Beamer, but it barely ran. It looked like it had rusty stains on it and the whole thing stunk. But it was still a Beamer, and that's kind of how my dad thinks. He goes, hey, we got a mansion. Yeah, sure, we're getting robbed every week, and I'm scared of my children's lives, and there's no running water. But, hey, it's a mansion.
It's like a Grey Gardens kind of situation.
Oh, yeah. If I knew what that was, I would agree. But, yeah, I'm with you.
Listen, we're going to let you go because we know you got it. Where is the set tonight? Are you in New York tonight? Where
I'm in New York City at a place called The Stand. It's kind of a newish club in Union Square. Great club. It's coming up on the Sellers heels. The Comedy Cellar, The Stand. We got New York Comedy Club. We got Gotham Comedy Club. So we got a ton of comedy here. Yeah, so you can. It was funny you mentioned that you were last week where you were headlining at Caroline's, or where were you headlining, or Gotham or something, and you said Gotham. And you were saying that you're doing sets every night, but then you're asking for headliner money on the weekends at Gotham. Like it's a tough sell. Exactly. It's pretty great. Finally. Well, I'm really happy for you. I'm happy for your success, and I know you squeezed us in here before a set, so. Do you even have to mentally prepare for sets anyway? Like it's like us with our TV show. We're still talking right until the credits kind of end at the beginning, and then it's like, oh, we're on TV, right? Like we don't think about it anymore. Is that how it is for you on stage at this point? A little bit, but if I'm running new stuff, I want to take a look at my notes, just so you don't f- the joke up. But with a podcast and with any other set, it's just go up, knock it out, have fun, be funny. But with the new stuff, you kind of want to polish up a little bit before. Well, get out there, polish it up. I always think of polishing your knob when you think of polishing things. Oh, sure. I think of Polak because I go Polish. Yes, right. Polak, Polish. Yeah. Our minds go to different places, Mark. That's what's cool about human beings. We're all different, but we're all gay. All right, I'll see you later. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mark. Have a good one, buddy. Mark's at the Grand Gerard Theater this Sunday, February 16th. The funny thing is, when sold out, right? We asked him. We said, "Well, pump your tires. We'll get that place sold out." He's like, "It's already sold out, but I'll come on anyway." So that was nice of him to do that. Yeah, and that the comedian, he does it with Joe List. He was on Last Comic Standing, I believe, a few years back. That's where I first discovered him. He's great as well. All right. Very funny podcast. Tuesdays with Stories. Check it out. Mark Normand. And you can see stuff all over YouTube. You and Andrew Zwarich were watching some of Mark's stand-up on YouTube. We were. It was on the old Conan. The old Conan I think so. The pre-shrunk down. Or maybe it was. I don't know what the set looks like now. I haven't seen Conan in a while. I listen to Conan's podcast, though. Yeah, it's really good. Conan's podcast is really good. Gets great guests. And then he has his assistant and his producer, and they have a nice little banter going. Mm-hmm. Everyone really does have a podcast. But it's true about the comedians. Like, that's how comedians sell out now. They have a podcast that everyone loves. Boomsies. You're selling out theaters. That's kind of how it worked for us. We sold out all those theaters out west thanks to our podcast.
Sure, we were doing the podcast in the theaters.
That seems like it took place 8 years ago.
I know. It does. It does, right, Stoff? It seems like that tour was
Absolutely.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
I just framed our the poster that we gave to VIPs.
that's a good
and sold.
idea.
I framed it. I've got it ready to put up in the old basement. In what I used to call my listening room, because it has my stereo in it and my records, but now is the American Girl room because it has all my daughter's toys in it, and I don't have a stereo there anymore.
You had to
So
move the
depressing.
stereo?
I'm putting it away.
You don't want to damage.
It's going to get destroyed.
Yeah.
It's already nearly been destroyed, so it's just going to go bye-bye for a while.
Well, I can look after it.
Yeah, you can have a look-sees at it for a while, sure.
Yeah, you can just put it at my house. The cats might get into it, but
Ooh, maybe not. No, sir. Meow, meow. Not good. Here, I'm DJ Scratchy Post. Rick, 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 meow.
well, that would be my. I've said that before. That'd be my DJ name, DJ Meowmix,
It's not actually not bad at all.
or DJ
DJ.
DJ Scratch and Sniff.
Yeah, I thought it was DJ.
Meow.
I thought it was DJ Scratch and Sniff. You always used that one. Did you ever use that moniker like not at CKDJ, but maybe we were DJing a party at Algonquin College?
I never DJ'd. I've never. Well, I did.
Here's another track by Rusty.
That's what it was. Well,
DJ.
I never DJ'd at a party. I DJ'd at CKDJ. But never at a party. My roommate Dave did, though.
Oh, yeah, Dave. He was good on the Wheels of Steel.
His room was next to mine, and I getting him to play the same song over and over. There wasn't a lot of mixing. I'm like, hit that one again.
Well, that was kind of you, and you played that one song when we were touring all over and over.
Yeah.
I can't remember what
It's a
song it
hit.
was. What? Didn't we play it? No, it was
That was Moonlight. That's essentially it.
So you saw Citizen Cope over the weekend at the Shoe.
Citizen Cope, he's from like 20 years ago. He was a pretty big deal. He still tours. Great show. Again, froze my balls off. Like I had to wore a winter coat the entire show. At one point, the heat came on, and there was a sigh, and
Like a cheer?
Yes.
A bit of a cheer through the crowd or a low clap?
everyone's like, "Oh, this is great. This is amazing." Then 4 minutes later, that was the air coming, the air conditioning coming.
It's a good impression of the air coming in. Here it is.
What a tune! That's a good one for the treadmill. At Fit for Less.
DJ.
Hey, I'm having a Fit for Less update, I believe, tomorrow on that wall. I tweeted out a picture of a wall that had a hole in it and it needed to be painted. I think they will have it painted by tomorrow.
You going to post that on the social medias?
Big time.
Oh, I love that idea.
Oh, yeah, someone will be like, must be nice to have a place that has a wall.
Your picture in front of that Sears that's being torn down in Peterborough, your face, it haunts me.
It was very sad.
Like, was that serious?
No, I was just like, I didn't want to look happy in the picture, so I just took a picture of me, like, not smiling.
You have to, if you haven't seen this, you have to go to Dan's Instagram and see. And I'm not making fun of the fact that the Sears is being torn down and jobs were lost. What I'm drawing attention to is Dan's face.
My solemn face.
I just couldn't wrap my head around it. I've never seen that face.
So I'm getting a brick from that Sears demolition. A guy sent me a message. He goes, I thought I saw you. And I'm like, can I get a brick? He's like, yeah, come by whenever.
What are you going to do with it? Just a paperweight?
I guess put it somewhere in the house. My house is full of shit like that.
What's over there on that fireplace mantle? That's a brick. Well, that would be a good weapon though if someone came in and tried to rob you.
Yeah.
Oh, you could do some damage with a brick.
So one guy responded on my social media because I said, I gave a little story about Sears and what it was like as a kid and all that going there. And he's like, stores can't survive on nostalgia alone. When was the last time you were there? Like I alone could have kept Sears in business.
Well, I mean, you could have contributed.
I haven't lived in my hometown for 25 years.
Yeah, but you live very close to
and
it.
I could have pointed out every Sears in Canada closed. Was I supposed to go Sears to Sears?
Yeah, a lot of people would have liked if you took the Dan O'Toole solemn face tour to all the Searses.
And then on my stories, I posted a picture outside a bar. It said, outside is not a urinal.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And someone said, what, are we supposed to just piss everywhere? Because I said, oh, well, it kind of is. Because I grew up on a farm. When you just piss
Yeah,
wherever.
you said it kind of is. It said outside is not a urinal, and then you wrote it kind of is. And so someone was upset that you implied...
we're just supposed to piss everywhere? Like,
I guess this comes back to the question that all of us in our life ask you repeatedly. Why are you on social media? It causes you so much stress and strife. It raises your blood pressure. It's probably taking years off your life. Why do you do this to yourself?
I don't know. I could post a picture of a puppy, and people would be like, do you know where that puppy came from?
That is definitely what they would
Like,
say.
just like...
There's a farm. They breed them.
Yeah. Oh, God.
That farm's right by your house.
A picture of a child holding a balloon on their birthday. Where are you going to put the balloon when it's done?
A picture of Mother Teresa
washing someone's
feet, washing a poor person's feet. Oh, I wish someone would wash my feet.
She's taking some foot washer's job.
Bob Weeks, I'm sorry that we were discussing this as we introduced
We're discussing
your
social
professional-
media and trolls on social media.
Oh, it sounded like foot washing.
Yeah.
Bob, do you get a lot of people trolling you? Like if you post something about golf and people say something like, "Oh, well, it must be nice to know Nick Taylor personally," or something like that.
Yeah, a couple of those. I found the best thing to do is just ignore them, because that's what they're looking for, right?
I know.
Can you tell Dan that? Because that's that's what we've been trying to tell Dan for ever since the advent of social media.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's a pretty easy lesson.
I know. Hey, what a weekend for Canadian golf.
man.
As I said at the start of our show last night, I'm like, Sunday was one of those days where you stop what you're doing for the next 2 hours and watch the back nine and enjoy it.
It was a pretty amazing day, and I think the one thing social media does give you is a real indication of how many people are tuning in, watching that,
Right,
and enraptured with it. Really, and it was pretty entertaining. I got to say, I thought after 9 holes he had it all wrapped up, but it got a little tight there towards the end.
he made it interesting, and it's so funny because you think of this. He's a professional golfer. He's already won on the tour. But he's leading the first 3 rounds, but you're going into that final round playing a guy who's won the tournament 6 times, one of the greatest ever in Phil Mickelson. And just to think to tee it up next to this guy must be just terrifying.
I'll tell you, Nick is, I've known Nick for a long time. He's one of the smartest guys you will ever meet, especially on the PGA Tour anyway. And I knew going into that last round he was not going to get overwhelmed. If he lost it, it was because he played poorly. But I didn't think he would get swept up in everything that was going on. I don't know if you guys remember back in 1999, I think it was the second year on tour, Mike Weir got into the final group in the PGA Championship with Tiger Woods. And, he just got swallowed up by the crowd and the yelling and the screaming, and Tiger would walk towards, the next hole after holding out. Mike still had a 3-footer, and there'd be people all over the place. That, Nick was smart enough to kind of realize what was coming and to understand it, and I think he just dived into to a sort of a mental shutdown. He said there were a few Canadian fans out there, but they kind of got drowned out by the Phil fanatics. But give him full credit for walking through that, and it's one of the things he's been working on very hard lately is his mental capacity, because the game has been pretty solid now for the last, say, 6 to 8 months or so, but he needs to kind of tighten up the mental fortitude, and I think it's working.
And that first win of his was, 5 years ago?
Yeah, 6 years ago, 2014, the start of the 2014-15 season. He won in his 5th start on the PGA Tour.
Right.
So I think a lot of people expected he'd have another one before now. He did. I know that. He's told me that.
Yeah, and he almost said it. He didn't say it exactly like this, but he said yesterday, he's like, you start to wonder, is it ever going to happen again?
Yeah, listen, it's tough to win on the PGA Tour. You need so many things to go right. You have to play well, first of all. But then you also have to get breaks. It's those rounds where the putts lip in instead of lipping out. And you have to count on guys like Phil Mickelson to, miss shots. And, a great career on the PGA Tour is 3 or 4 wins. And so you can play 300 or 400 tournaments, and you can be considered a great player if you have 3 or 4 wins. So you don't come that often, and you got to take every chance you can when you get into the contention and have an opportunity to win one.
And then, you mentioned Mike Weir. So coming up at the Masters, we have the most Canadians ever competing at the Masters. We have Nick gets into the Masters now with his win at Pebble. Mike, of course, will always get into the Masters. And then you have Corey Connors and you have Adam Hadwin. So you and Duffy are just going to be having a party down there. It'll be maple syrup. It'll be beaver tails. It'll be coffee crisps. But it makes it obviously more fun for you guys covering the event, I would imagine.
It does. It's so much fun. I can tell you, over the years, it's going to be my 25th Masters.
Wow.
And over the years, you go down there and you see like 4 Spanish golfers, like Sergio and Jose and John Rahm and stuff playing together, or you see 4 Australians together. And there was a lot of years where it was just Mike. And now there's going to be a foursome out there. And Nick actually was talking about that a little bit yesterday, saying how cool it'll be to go out for a practice round with Adam and Corey and then use Mike's experience there to tell them where to go and how to do it and where to miss and those kind of things. So it's pretty neat. It's I was saying on another radio show today that I think this is probably the deepest contingent we've had of Canadians on the PGA Tour. If you throw in Mac Hughes and Roger Sloan, and a lot of these guys are basically came up sort of as teenagers when Mike was winning the Masters, and you listen to them all talk about what an inspiration Mike was. How winning the Masters for them showed them that they can do it, and it's sort of their generation, I guess, following up in Weirsy's footsteps. Who's going to turn 50 shortly after the Masters. So
Weirsy's like the grandfather to these guys, and then almost like the uncle, Graham Dolette. We just need him now back in perfect health.
Yeah, and it would be great if he could get his back. I don't know. I'm really kind of worried about Graham. I've had a few chats with him, but he keeps things close to the vest, and I don't know when he's going to be back. If it's going to be a week, a month, next year, but he's for what that guy's gone through to try and get back. Basically, had stem cell implants put in a year ago. That didn't work. In fact, made things worse. So he had another discectomy. I mean, the guy is. You think Tiger's broken down? Poor old Graham is just really tough out there, because I think he could really do some damage if he ever was healthy again. He's such a good ball striker, and he's such a good guy. He's fun on Twitter, too.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Great to have on this podcast, too. And, okay, Bob, I'm going to put you on the spot. So, very exciting golf at the Olympics this summer. The top 2 ranked players from each country get to go to Tokyo, and suddenly we have a competition on our hands. And obviously Adam and Corey and now Nick, it's going to be 2 of those 3. If you were a betting man, Bob, and I don't know if you are, which 2 would you say we're going to be able to make it to Tokyo this summer?
Ooh, boy, that's tough. I'm going to go with Adam and Nick, only because it would be such a cool story. Do you know those guys grew up playing junior golf at the same club together in Abbotsford, BC? They were, as young pros, they moved down to Phoenix to try and, play the mini tours, and they roomed together. So I just think 2 Olympians from the same club, from the same little town in BC, I think it would be such a cool story. Nothing against Corey Connors, but that would be, that for selfish reasons for me, that would be the best story to have happen.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
I did not know that story.
How excited are you about golf at the Olympics, Bob?
I think it's great. I mean, it's funny, having covered Olympics, primarily Winter Olympics before, you get the idea of how big it is. And I can remember telling Graham Dolette and David Hearn last year, I said, I know you guys have played major championships, but you will not believe how big the Olympics are. And they were saying, oh, yeah, sure. And then when they came back, they said, you're right, we couldn't believe it. It's so big. It's so huge. And I think a lot of the golfers who are a little worried about the golf being in the Olympics last time who opted out, the Rorys and the Jason Days and those kind of guys, I think they're kicking themselves now, and if they have the opportunity, they'll be in it this time for sure.
Bob, you rank the top courses in Canada every year. What was number 1 this year? Or last year, I should say, in 2019.
Yeah, Cabot Cliffs. Cabot
Again.
Cliff for sure. That's
Yeah.
the two Cabot courses. I think were 1 and 3 with the national in between. But I mean, if you haven't been to those Cabot courses, it's pretty spectacular golf, and it's a cool. It takes you a little bit to get there. Like it's kind of in the middle of, I won't say nowhere, but it's a small town and a long way from a major airport, 3.5 hours from Halifax. But it's so much fun when you get there. It's all about golf and maybe having a couple of pints afterwards or a single malt. But it's worth a trip, and they're adding another one in St. Lucia, which would kind of be nice around this time of year.
Yeah.
When it gets open.
You ever played Wildfire? It's outside my hometown of Peterborough on Stony Lake.
You know, I've not played there. but
Oh,
everyone
Bob,
I
you
know-
got to go. We should
I
go
know,
this summer.
I'd love to do that. Everyone who plays there raves about it, and I think John Mills, the old PGA Tour player, I think his brother is the pro there. if
That's
I'm not
correct. Yep.
mistaken.
Yeah. Okay, so the three of us, we're going to golf it this summer.
Sounds
Okay.
great. Let's
Sounds
do
like
it.
a deal.
All right, Bob. Bob, it was great having you on the pod. Have fun at Augusta, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Thanks, Bob.
There he is, Bob Weeks, the TSN golf analyst extraordinaire. And you think golf in this country, you think Bobby Weeks.
I ran into Bob in the wild, like maybe my first couple years working at TSN. I was going into IKEA. He was coming out.
Oh, yeah. He had some meatballs in his belly and maybe a
he was gonna say,
Poang
Come on
chair.
into the meat
I
house.
thought you were going to say they're in his pockets.
He had some
Meatballs in his
meatballs
pocket.
in his pocket and a Poang chair on his back.
When was the last time you went to IKEA?
Oh, long time ago. I haven't been there for a long time, maybe a decade.
If you thought social media upset me.
Oh,
IKEA.
How about IKEA on a Saturday?
Oh,
Ooh, mama.
no, that's
Oh,
nightmare.
mama. We should send you in there with a camera.
And tweet on social media while in IKEA on a Saturday.
I love that idea. Who's in for that? I
And-
want to hear from you podcast listeners. Who wants Dan, #Dan at IKEA on a Saturday?
And he doesn't get to use any of the shortcuts.
That's
He's got to
right.
go through the
And I've
entire
got
maze.
to, and I have to attend a compulsory meeting.
Oh, boy. Hey, one last thing we want to get to. Our friend, you brought this up with me because you listen to Overdrive, our afternoon radio show, TSN 1050 Toronto. Very popular. Jeff O'Neill, Jamie McLennan, and Brian Hayes is the host. Great guy.
He drives that bus.
He drives that bus. Great host. And Brian is the guy who did the My Pillow ad that we love. And this is Brian's voice here. When Christoph will always do this drop, right? This one where he's talking about My Pillow and how much it changed his life. And
The drop's not coming up, but I will
sorry.
put it in post.
Okay. All right. So there it is. So anyway, I understand he has some new ads, Toolsy.
Yeah, for the Jiffy app. So if you need anything done around the house, you dial up the Jiffy app and like a handyman comes to your house, like a plumber,
This is like my dream
electrician,
app.
whatever.
Yeah, this is my dream app because I'm not handy in any way. I love the idea of having something on my phone. It's like, oh, something broke. This I can just get somebody quick.
Yeah, and he does these reads, and after you listen for a week, you're like, Brian Hayes needs to move because his house is maybe on the verge of being condemned.
Right. So Brian bought a money pit. All right, let's give these we'll give one of them a listen here.
Hey, it's Brian Hayes. I had some friends over to watch the game, and my dishwasher started leaking. Terrible timing. So I jumped on the Jiffy app and had a great pro come by
See?
that
There you
day
go.
who fixed the problem without the hassle.
See, to me, if I had a dishwasher leaking when I had friends over, I'd just tell them to put on some boots. And because I'm not dealing with this now, the game's on.
Why does he have the dishwasher running during the game?
No, because before everyone came
Oh,
over, he
before
wants to get those dishes clean for everybody, right?
right.
Dishwasher starts leaking. Jiffy app, boom, you're saved. Love that. Jiffy app, well done. What's the next one, Staff?
Hey, it's Brian Hayes. The outlet in my bathroom stopped working out of nowhere, and rather than asking friends on Facebook if they knew someone, I opened up the Jiffy app and had a vetted, licensed electrician at my house after work that day to fix the issue. Jiffy continues to be the fastest and easiest way to get small jobs and emergencies done around the
Stop,
house.
hold on.
Download the Jiffy
Dan is
app.
dying over here. Dan, you just had a coughing fit, but then something came out of your body.
It was a partial vomit.
You puked on the pod.
There was. It's
You
right there.
puked.
If you want to see it?
Oh, God. No, I don't want to look at it. It's on the chair. It's on Hayes' chair.
No, it's on the floor.
Oh, okay. I thought you puked. It would be somewhat coincidental if we were talking about Hayes and then you vomited on his chair.
And it was because of the acid reflux, because it was gurgling and the stuff at the top just came up.
Do you need to go to the doctor?
Nah, I just forgot to take my pill today.
Man, we sound old. Okay, let's hear one more. The outlet. So, again,
So he's got the dishwasher's up, the outlet's
outlet's
fucked.
messed. And I think there's another thing that happened to Hayes' house.
Hey, it's Brian Hayes. Finding someone to clear the leaves and twigs in my eaves trough's not as easy as you think, especially when it's buried in snow. And not cleaning the eaves during freezing cold weather could mean major problems.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. He can't find anyone to get those twiggies out of there.
Hey, it's Brian Hayes. I showed up on my house the other day. Door gone.
Hey, it's Brian Hayes. Do your windows shut? Not mine. Cold air coming into the home, all hours of the night. Wife freezing, children cold, everybody hypothermia. Jiffy app, save the day. It's Hayes.
Hey, it's Brian Hayes. I got home the other day. House gone. Does this ever happen to you?
Thank God for Jiffy.
Jiffy.
So I called the Jiffy app. They built me a new house within 12 hours.
Don't call me Jiffy. Hey, Jiffy app, it's dead. Sir, just tap it on your phone. You don't call us.
This is a great service. We're making light of Brian Hayes. His house and his life is in shambles.
Yeah, Brian Hayes needs a therapist.
It has changed my life.
His life. I'm worried he needs a life coach.
He might need a new chair over there, too.
I'm Brian Hayes. The other day I showed up at home. There's a hobo living in my house.
I'm Brian Hayes. I sat on my toilet, fell into the toilet. Toilet seat gone. Toilet gone. It has changed Brian's life.
Can you pass
It
me
has
those
changed my
Lysol
life.
wipes there? I got to clean up this.
Vomit time. Anyway, check out the Jiffy app.
Yeah,
I'm literally going to download it on my phone right now.
I need that. I have a floorboard that's loose.
I just love that.
Underneath you right now?
Yeah, the puke got loosened up that floorboard. Jiffy, here it is. Easy home maintenance. Love it. Oh, and there's even Jiffy Pro. So if you have a business, I love that. Boom!
you
Did you hear
signed up
that?
Wait,
That little ding? I got the Jiffy app.
You scheduled someone?
No, I got the app. I don't really need anything done at this moment, but when I do, boomsies, it's on my phone.
They can put up your Christmas lights.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like doing that myself. Every time my wife's like, "What are you doing up there?" I'm like, "I could do this." She's like, "You're gonna die." She's like,
My wife.
She's like, "What? Why do we have a ladder? You use it once a year."
Hey, you need help with that ladder? Jiffy.
Yeah, maybe Jiffy should come put up the Christmas lights. Anyway, I'm excited about it. This has been a blast.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
I'm excited about hashtag Dan at IKEA. Is it hashtag Dan at IKEA? Is that what we're going with?
I like him. It's to the point.
So Saturday. So what's the closest IKEA to you, Toolsy? Schwa? Is there one in the Schwa?
I probably off the 407 up there around like wherever that, like by U of York. I mean, not U of York, York.
York University?
Isn't there one
Is there
up
one
there?
Well, there's
Yeah,
one.
there's one 400, 407,
Yeah.
pretty much. That's the closest one to you?
No. There's
Probably.
isn't there
gotta be something.
Shepherd? What's the Shepherd and like Vic Park?
Oh, yeah,
that one
That one's there too.
by the old TSN.
I'm not-
There's one there.
Hey, great store, great place to get plates and glasses.
It's. I
And
mean,
meatballs.
yeah, and honestly, the meatballs are good.
Uh-oh, you gonna puke?
No, but I'm getting over something. Again, I'm sick so much now. I need the Sicky app.
Here's what happened. So I had vertigo last week. I had the flu before. You had the flu or something. And my one buddy pointed out, he's like, once you guys open the floodgate, then
No, we're going to be gone by the end of the. Enjoy this podcast while you got it. And McDonald's, thanks for sponsoring our last year of the pod. We're going to be
I love
dead
that
soon.
sauce.
no, it's just once we knew the streak was over, then our bodies were like, okay,
Kind of.
let's get real now.
Yeah, they felt like the bodies were like, you know what? Now I feel like I can just like fall apart.
By the way, I keep getting little tingles in the back of my head. The vertigo is not gone. Every person I talk to, they say, "Oh yeah, my wife's had it for 3 years. Oh, my cousin's had it for 3 months."
So you're never getting rid of this thing.
I hope it goes away. It's not fun.
Old Spins O'Toole, they call you at the IKEA. Like, hey, who wants to go in the tilt-a-whirl? Like, my whole life is a tilt-a-whirl.
Yeah, pretty much.
Our old Fox colleagues are hosting. There's an episode of BattleBots on.
Yeah.
Kenny Florian.
Kenny Florian, great guy.
Molly McGrath are our old friends from Fox.
Who's doing the play-by-play? John Anik?
Chris Rose, another Fox guy.
Chris Rose.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah, he sent us a note when we left.
Really good dude.
Says, get the out of my country and go back to Canton. No,
he's
said,
like, why did you take my spot at Fox?
Yeah, he said very nice words to us. Very nice guy.
He's a sexy man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Christoph, did you have fun on the pod today?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that Mark Normand, a good guy, and Bob Weeks, great. Who do we have next week? Dan.
Mysteries.
Dan at IKEA.
Mysteries.
Oh, I can't wait for this Dan and IKEA stuff. Okay, well, we'll talk to you next week.